Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh, and today's video is one that, oh my gosh, so requested. So many of you wanted to know more about the Lexus and Toyota OEM Dashcam. We have it installed here in our brand new 2023 Lexus NX, and it is, again, the same part for both Toyota and Lexus. The only difference I see between the Lexus and Toyota part is that the action button is black on the Lexus version and red on the Toyota version. Now, for those of you who have complained that my videos are way too long, I do apologize. And so what I'm gonna do with this video is I've broken it up into four parts, four things that I wanna talk about. Hardware, video quality, usability, value, and then at the end, I'll go through the final verdict. So feel free to skip around, again, if you don't wanna see or don't care about any of the other parts in this video, and just skip to the one that you want. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into our first category here, which is hardware. And I'm starting with hardware because that was really the main reason I wanted to buy this camera in particular for this vehicle, because it comes from the manufacturer. It comes from Toyota, or it comes from Lexus in this case. And in that respect, this camera has met and exceeded my expectations for fit and feel and quality and installation and implementation and all of that stuff. If you're not familiar with engineering for cars, cars are one of the most extreme environments to be designing electronics in and for, because they sit out in the sun, they are exposed to the elements. And especially for climates like Texas, where I live, in the summertime, it is taking on all of those rays, all of the heat, all of the UV that's coming into and hitting the car. So it's really important, or it was really important for me to find something that I felt like, and I felt confident could stand up to the heat. And again, I'm really impressed with how they have designed and implemented and finished this dash cam. The plastics, the buttons, everything, the enclosure looks like it's made of exactly the same plastic as all the rest of the safety equipment that is also bonded to the windshield. We have venting along the side of the unit here. The buttons and hardware, everything feels so incredibly solid. It costs a lot, which we'll get to in a bit, but I think it's worth it for, again, especially the Lexus owner who wants something a little bit more premium, a little bit more integrated than something like a Garmin that hangs off the mirror or something like that. Okay, moving on to our second topic here, let's talk about video quality. And if hardware is this camera's greatest attribute, then video quality has to be its worst. And I am not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. The video quality that comes out of this camera is not what people would expect or frankly demand, I think, for a product that costs what this does. Now, I have to be fair, the video quality here is not bad in any way. It is more than usable for what I personally wanted a dash cam for. We have a dash cam in all of our vehicles, and really for us, the purpose of this is really to have just a record of what's going on and what has happened outside of the car. So if someone decides to merge into me or cuts me off in traffic or does, whatever the heck idiot drivers do, I have a record of it. That's really what I'm looking for. I mean, from time to time, it is kind of cool to catch like funny things going on or random, really cool vehicles or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, it's just a second set of eyes recording what's going on around the vehicle outside at all times. And for that, it is more than serviceable. And the thing with dash cams is that this footage is never going to look like what you get off of an iPhone in 4K HDR. It's not even going to look as good as a GoPro. You have to understand what footage from dash cams generally look like to understand how either good, bad, or acceptable the footage off this dash cam is. And I bring this up not to defend the bad video quality coming out of this camera, but more so to help you set your expectations. If you buy this camera, if you install it in your vehicle, just know that you're getting dash cam footage out of here, not GoPro or iPhone footage out of it. With all that out of the way though, talking about the actual way that this camera captures footage, I'm actually really, really happy with that. As you're seeing and as you've been seeing here on screen, this camera captures an incredibly wide angle. I can basically see everything going on from the A-pillar forward. A lot of cameras out there, again, cheaper cameras, lesser grade quality cameras, whatever it might be, they don't capture as wide a field of view. And that can be the make or break for a dash cam. If somebody, again, cuts you off in traffic and sideswipes your fender, you might not see that on a camera that's got a narrower field of view. And actually, before this camera, we tried the new Ring dash cam that they've got out now. I'm not going to get into that here. That camera was pretty bad in other ways. One of which was I didn't think it had a good field of view at all. This camera, because it sits high up, it sits basically just below the cowl here in the car, it can see pretty much everything. And I really, really like that about the field of view and the way that this camera captures video. In the lower right hand corner, you'll see the stamp that this camera puts on footage by default. I don't believe you can turn that off in its entirety, and I wouldn't want to, honestly. The only thing that I have personally disabled from that stamp is the speed, because I don't want this car ratting me out for doing my usual 25 over the speed limit. I don't need some insurance adjuster coming to me later on going, Mr. Lee, why were you doing 90 in a 65 zone? Because I wanted to, and that's the way I drive. If you... And I'm not saying that that's not wrong. I'm not trying to defend that. But, you know, I live in Texas. That's the way we drive. I am constantly, by the way, driving this car up and down the notorious 130 toll here in Texas. That is the road with the highest speed limit in the United States at 85 miles an hour. Where we live here in Austin, it is the easiest way for me to get to the airport. In the last week, I've been up and down that thing probably 4 or 5 times, and I am constantly doing over 100 on that roadway, and I just don't need, again, the camera ratting me out. On that note, though, a lot of you have said to me, both here on YouTube and over on Reddit, that, oh, I can't have the NX because I need something that's stable and comfortable and solid at highway speeds. Let me tell you, this car, I've had bigger cars. I have had, again, an XC90. I have the 4Runner. I have had trucks. This car is one of the most enjoyable things to drive on the highway because it is solid, but it is also really nimble, and it's got enough power to be really agile on the freeway. If I want to zoom around people, which, again, I do from time to time, it has enough power and it is small enough and agile enough to do that. But if I want a comfortable highway cruiser, it can do that as well. So don't think that you have to buy the RX to have a great highway car. You can have that with the NX. Okay, tangent aside, let's move on to our third topic, which is usability. And usability is interesting. It's kind of a mixed bag with this dash cam because you have 2 main ways to interface with the camera itself. The first is through the mobile app for your iPhone or Android or whatever you have. If you're a Lexus owner, it's called the Lexus Integrated Dashcam app. If you're a Toyota owner, it's the Toyota Integrated Dashcam app. Basically the same functionality for the same product. My problem with the mobile app is it's functional, but it's really fugly and it's fussy. The app itself works just fine. It's not buggy. There's nothing that really stops you from using it. It just kind of feels like it came out of 2008. It feels like something that was designed for like the iPhone 3G or something like that and was never really updated beyond that. To get footage off, the easiest thing to do, honestly, is just pull the SD card out of the camera, pop it into your computer. If you need an adapter, you can get one of those. And then you can basically just use it as like you would a flash drive. You just pull whatever clips you want off of the dash cam and drop it somewhere to the local drive on your computer. Super quick, super easy, super painless. And because you're actually plugging into and doing it through a hardwired connection to your computer, it happens in seconds. So that's why I say that usability with the system is kind of a mixed bag because the app sucks, but you really only need to use the app to change settings. And you're doing that like once in a blue moon. At least I am once in a blue moon. Now, with all that out of the way, let's move on to our fourth and final category in this video. Let's talk about value. And this, I think, is going to be what makes or breaks this camera for most people. As I alluded to earlier on in the video, this camera is not cheap. You are paying for the quality, for the fit and finish, for the engineering, for the integration, and for the fact that it comes from the same manufacturer, the OEM manufacturer of your vehicle. This camera is anywhere between $500 and $1,000, depending on how you buy it. If you buy it with the car, is your dealer willing to throw it in for the price of the hardware and comp installation? Are you buying it after the fact, so you're paying for installation? But I think that there is some really good value here. Again, I talked about at length the engineering and the fit and finish and the final quality and integration of this dash cam. Absolutely first rate. That is what your money is going to, frankly, because you're not getting it with video quality, as you've probably seen throughout this video. And so final verdict for me, I mean, this was absolutely worth the money. I absolutely love it. I know what I'm giving up with it, but I wanted the better quality product here with the OEM dashcam. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that this answered all the questions that all of you had. I hope that the footage that you're seeing or saw through this video from the camera itself was helpful. And yeah, any questions and comments you all have, leave them down in the comments below. I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful one and take care.